will address the need to prepare for an eventual MIPS audit and will provide some resources to help you through the process. At the time of this recording, there has been some, but not comprehensive guidance on this topic, and this presentation is designed to help you better position yourself to respond to a CMS MIPS audit. The Lake Superior Quality Innovation Network is a partnership between 3 state-level quality improvement organizations, MPRO in Michigan, Stratus Health in Minnesota, and Metastar in Wisconsin. We partner together to improve healthcare for Medicare consumers, share best practices, and maximize efficiencies for our clients and constituents. As a disclaimer, information provided in this presentation is based on the latest information made available by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, and is subject to change. CMS policies change, so we encourage you to review specific statutes and regulations that may apply to you for interpretation and updates. Our objectives during our 13 minutes together will be to review the historical perspective on Meaningful Use CMS Audit Program, as this was the precursor to the Promoting Interoperability category, and there are many audit readiness parallels to be found here, and consider the basics of audit readiness, as well as review CMS data validation and audit readiness requirements for MIPS, and to introduce you to an Excel audit readiness and data validation tool that can help you to prepare and organize needed information and documents that you may need during an audit. Audits do indeed occur, and under the Meaningful Use program there is a 1 in 10 chance of undergoing an audit. CMS did retract Meaningful Use incentive payments, requiring repayment of incentive funds to CMS, and if they did, the likeliest underlying reason was either complete lack of a security risk assessment or having one that was done poorly or not comprehensively to protect patient information. Even if a Meaningful Use program participant did a good job at this objective, it may be that their organization did not prepare themselves for an audit and was not able to assemble and forward the requested audit documentation or evidence. This lack of readiness could apply to any one of the MIPS categories, except cost, not just the protect patient information objective, which is one of the base objectives in the Promoting Interoperability category. Another challenge historically that we'll see carried forward under MIPS was participants not being prepared for material requests by CMS auditors and being able to turn it around in the narrow time frame. CMS has stated in their current fact sheet that they will allow 45 days to submit materials. Under the Meaningful Use program, a 6-year document retention requirement was in place, and the audit program itself was outsourced by CMS to a contractor known as Figliosi & Company. CMS created an audit guidance document for the Meaningful Use program, which we'll see in the next 2 slides. Again, keep in mind that what was done under Meaningful Use has set some precedents for what will be done with regard to the audits under MIPS. This is a screenshot of the first few paragraphs of that CMS audit overview document for Meaningful Use, which clearly stated that CMS would conduct audits and that this task, as previously mentioned, would be conducted by a contractor, Figliosi & Company. CMS made a point to draw a distinction in this document between prepayment and post-payment audits. Prepayment audits are largely transparent, as these are edit checks and system controls that are in place behind the scenes after data submission is done for a measurement period. This ensures that any obvious errors or omissions are caught before an incentive is paid or a payment adjustment occurs. When we think of the Meaningful Use audit program, this was post-payment portion of the program where incentives have been paid out or payment adjustments were made to Medicare Part B allowable charges in the subsequent payment adjustment years. You'll hear in an upcoming slide that CMS is replicating this concept of pre- and post-payment audits under MIPS. Let's start to tie the historical Meaningful Use audit program and MIPS audits a little closer now. The media has publicized some major findings of the financial health of the Meaningful Use program and detailed concerns unearthed by the Office of the Inspector General. You can see the concern in the headline here that millions of dollars worth of incorrect EHR incentives were paid out, and you can follow the link at the bottom for the Office of the Inspector General report. The amount of identified inappropriately paid incentives amounted to approximately $730 million, as seen in the bold text here. Also highlighted in the OIG report, eligible providers did not maintain support for their attestations, data submitted to CMS. This certainly sets the stage for further attention to fiscal accountability with any CMS payments, and while not explicitly mentioned in the OIG report, MIPS in the promoting interoperability category are the descendants of meaningful use and will certainly be allotted similar fiscal scrutiny both by CMS and OIG. The Office of the Inspector General continued in the report in June of 2017 to recommend steps to remediate their meaningful use fiscal discrepancies, including attempted recovery of the $730 million. They included a request for random sampling of provider documentation after the prescribed audit period. This speaks to keeping records for up to 6 years, as well as better education for program participants on proper documentation to substantiate what they did. Lastly, the OIG recommended to include stronger program integrity safeguards under MACRA, which is the legislation that enacted the Quality Payment Program and MIPS. This concern and scrutiny of the Meaningful Use Program is what is setting the stage for the Quality Payment Program and the Merit-Based Incentive Payment System track of the program. After this early June 2017 OIG study and set of recommendations that came out, Senators Hatch and Grassley followed up with concerns about the Meaningful Use Program and audits. Quote, "If CMS is capable of recovering taxpayer money that should not have been spent, the agency should take all reasonable steps to do so." Unquote. The two senators closed their letter to the CMS administrator by voicing their concern about payment under the Quality Payment Program and MIPS. Quote, "Prevent inappropriate payments made in the future, including the context of the merit-based incentive payment system." Unquote. This is certainly more foreshadowing of the fact that MIPS will have a structured audit program similar to what's been described here under the Meaningful Use Program. Within MIPS, we can expect that each category that contributes to the overall MIPS performance score will be looked at in an audit, with the exception of the cost category, which you do not have to submit data for. Quality, improvement activities, and promoting interoperability. CMS has provided a data validation guidance tool on all three categories circled in this slide, and we'll get to that momentarily. Furthermore, the current CMS data validation information has been incorporated verbatim into the Lake Superior Quality Innovation Network Audit Readiness Excel tool, which we'll cover in a few slides. CMS has published a data validation and audit fact sheet, which provides a very general overview of what the audit program will look like under MIPS, including a statement about the 6-year retention period for MIPS documentation, which is the same as it was under Meaningful Use. They include an Excel spreadsheet in this collection of zip files that provides some guidance for the improvement activities and advancing care information categories. This guidance has been integrated into an audit readiness tool that I'll cover in just a few slides momentarily. The CMS fact sheet in this collection of zip files, however, is only 4 pages long, which reflects the fact that they are in the process of developing their approach to audits under MIPS. On the bottom of page 1 of the PDF fact sheet, we get the clearest message about what is to come. Quote, "Under MIPS, CMS will conduct an annual data validation and audit process. If selected for a data validation or audit, you will have 45 calendar days to complete data sharing as requested or an alternate time frame that is agreed upon by CMS and the MIPS eligible clinician or group." Unquote. As CMS states in the fact sheet, they will both validate the data that you submit and then make a determination about who is to be audited. In the past, CMS has not disclosed how they determine who will be audited. The Lake Superior Quality Innovation Network Audit Readiness and Data Validation tool for MIPS covers the quality, improvement activities, and promoting interoperability categories. It includes multiple tabs in an Excel workbook including Introduction, General Guidance, Screenshot Guidance, the 3 categories of quality, improvement activities, and promoting interoperability. And these tabs for the 3 categories are directly taken from the CMS spreadsheet included in the CMS Data Validation and Audit Fact Sheet zipped file. This tool provides a bit more detailed overview of how to prepare, what information is needed when collecting screenshots for certain activities and measures, and generally is a good go-to resource that can help you get organized around audit readiness. If you'd like this tool, please contact your state-appropriate representative or contact from Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota in the final slide of this presentation. Here you see a few sample screenshots of the 3 MIPS categories. For all 3 categories, excluding the cost category for which you don't submit data, we've included a verbatim copy of the CMS Excel document. For any activity or objective where a basic yes-no style of attestation is requested for reporting, you'll most likely need to make a screenshot for that item. Details of the best practices to do this are contained in the Screenshot Guidance tab. Taking a screenshot of your system functionality switched on at the beginning, middle, and end of the measurement period is the general approach, and including a date-time indication from your screen along with the vendor logo is also recommended. As I wrap up this overview on audit readiness, I'd like to leave you with a few tips to help you prepare. Having your documentation organized into electronic files will enable you to respond quickly and within the allotted 45-day time frame. Under Meaningful Use, the contractor set up a secure web portal for submission of documents, and it's likely the new process will be similar. If you have multiple tax identification numbers, TINs, within your organization, start organizing your documents and files at that level, whether you've chosen to do submissions by group or individual, as the TIN is the highest level of reporting for MIPS. Then organize by provider NPI number below that. Keep unique folders for each reporting period or calendar year, and further, set them up for the unique categories within MIPS, quality improvement activities, and promoting interoperability. The key is to keep these documents organized and ready to submit according to how you reported for MIPS, by group or individual NPI, and keep the MIPS category documents distinct from one another. If there is ever turnover at your organization, this can be doubly helpful, as we saw organizations scramble when program responsibilities were handed off to new individuals, who then had no idea where documentation was stored, or even if it existed, to meet auditors' requests and meet the request deadlines. Thank you for taking 13 minutes of your time today to learn about MIPS audit readiness, and I hope this information has been helpful for you. Please feel free to get in touch with your state-appropriate contact as shown here for further questions or to request the Excel Audit Readiness tool.